Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for something insane. I'm going for a drive in a car that needs very little by way of an introduction, the DDE Tire Slayer. It now belongs to 458 Destroyer, who's invited me here in Tennessee to take it out for a drive on a lovely day, but this is going to be crazy. This car is modified to the max. It's a Lamborghini Huracan LP580-2, so the rear wheel drive, except this has the Sheepey Race twin turbo setup with something like 1,000 horsepower. It's got the Vorsteiner body kit, a chassis mounted carbon wing at the back, the rear bumper delete, new wheels, Motec ECU, and so much more to it. And I'm going to take this for a drive. The car that was basically the face of the DDE channel from when Damon bought it, around 50,000 subscribers, until recently Damon and Dave said farewell to it at about 2.5 million. This is the car that caught fire at the Huracan Burnyard. This is the car that's been pulled over countless times. Today though, let's go see what this is like out on the roads. I'm out here with 458 Destroyer on a perfect winter's day. Fortunately, most of the snow from my previous visit has now melted away, significantly helpful for taking this out for a drive. A car that joined the collection a couple of months ago, sitting now alongside, if we very quickly take a look here, the original, the 458 Destroyer, the 458 Italia with the Liberty Walk wide body kit in the USS Destroyer Grey, Paul Walker's XR32 GTR, the Calvo 2,600 horsepower Viper, the two LFAs, the RX-7, the Speciale, and just beyond the LaFerrari as well. But today is not about any of those. It is all about this, the DDE Tire Slayer, the Lambo Huracan LP580-2. Now, if you're wondering about the name Tire Slayer, well, it's probably quite self-explanatory. In the 4 years that the DDE guys were driving this car, I dread to think quite how many rear tyres they must have gone through. In any case, it was a lot. This car was frequently seen doing burnouts, donuts, all sorts, including a pretty fiery day at the Huracan Burnyard, the same place where Damon actually helped me finish off the tyres in my Ford GT a little over a year ago. But let's take a look then around the car and some of the mods to it. It's now wearing a new livery, but reminiscent of one of the different liveries that it wore during the time with DDE. We've got the wide body Vorsteiner package, this very low carbon fibre splitter at the front, the louvres over the front arches, quite similar to how they've now done them with the STO. This car is wearing an exclusive set of Brixton Forged wheels with the DDE stamp in them as well. We've got the Vorsteiner side skirts, and then round here, this ridiculous carbon fibre spoiler that is chassis mounted with the bumper delete. It is quite frankly massively overkill, but looks insane. And then back here, check this out. Custom exhaust and twin turbo setup from Sheepey Race with the Motec ECU. This spits fire pretty much on demand. That setup makes about 1,000 horsepower. The filters sticking out of the back as well, with the 7-speed DCT gearbox sitting just beneath. The rear tyres completely open. You would not want to follow this in a convoy. Those must be flicking up stones non-stop. Inside, still fairly civilized, to be honest. The Huracan branding pack with the Huracan embroidery and quilting on the seats. We've got a few bright coloured accents, but there are different settings that have been configured specifically for this car. I think actually I should take a step in and start it very quickly. In a moment, we'll head out. Normal process. Press the start. Take a listen to this. It just sounds powerful. We've got the Carbontastic steering wheel with the shift lights up the top. You can change it through the different driving modes, but this is, I mean, that's just, okay, it's hard to explain. You can hear the turbo whistles behind. Sorry, it's very bright sun today. I know where this is going. Now I'm going to take this easy to start. We are in Strada. I don't want to do anything too crazy until I'm a little bit accustomed to quite how much power this car is making, because it's no joke when it's up towards 1,000 horsepower. That is a very, 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 very big number. And to be honest, actually driving like this, it feels quite normal to start. Initially then, I'm just getting used to this a little bit because you're very conscious there's a lot of power underfoot. Now I know Damon did a lot of miles and kilometers, so I'm sure after some time it becomes normal, but I'm not gonna be, with the snow and ice that's around us, doing anything too mental out here in this. Just getting a feel for what a car like this is capable of. Listen to that turbo sound down in second gear. Goodness me! What is this? Wow. The amount of power, honestly, yeah. is silly fast. But it's also easy to drive silly fast. You have to remember it's a rear-wheel drive Huracan. It's not your traditional four-wheel drive, the LP610-4, it's the LP580. The first very significant problem is that we are extremely low on fuel. You will see at the top right of the dashboard display, I suspect that is a matter of miles and we're basically in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to have to drive this like a granny until we've got a full tank in it and can start to explore a little more. So gentle drive for the moment. We're good to go now. What I can tell you immediately is that this car just has so much power available under the right foot that you barely need to press it down, and considering the conditions we're currently driving through, surrounded by snow, I certainly need to keep my wits about me, because even in Strada mode at the moment, although in manual, the propulsion is just frankly mind-boggling. And I have driven a twin-turbo Huracan once before, and obviously they can go even more powerful than this. A very tight corner here. But the sounds are just, I mean, as the road opens, I can put my foot back down again. This road is just... You find yourself into silly territory far, 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 far quicker than you might ever think. And I suppose it's about what the car's built for, you know? 1,000 odd horsepower isn't in its own right the most absurd thing. It's that the car isn't normally for it. Okay, I am going to press the button on the steering wheel and pop it into sport mode. So we've got ESC Sport, so I need to watch the specific tyre slayer mode is actually in Strada in here. Basically the way it's been completely set up, but I mean this must just be stupid on the roads around here. So totally alien and different from anything else around here. I tell you one thing that you really have to think about in here is that because the car is so low and that carbon splitter is right down on the ground, every single pothole or bump you have to watch out, because well, the car will snap in that direction. You don't want to be scraping carbon. It's just absolutely bonkers. You still get all those crackles that we're familiar with the Lamborghini Huracan. When you arrive at a stop sign. Whew. Need to catch a bit of breath driving this thing. It's a seriously dramatic car to drive. You have to keep a lot of your wits about you and really be thinking about it, because the speed build up, when you get into the turbo range, you don't feel it initially. You get up a couple of thousand RPM and then basically all hell breaks loose and it just takes off. If you're already high in the RPMs, the thing just, like I say, catapults into another stratosphere. It's a very different kind of power to, say, the LaFerrari that I drove with 458 Destroyer before, because similar numbers, I guess, on paper, but the experience is so different. This just feels so much more brutally frantic, the way it delivers that power. You don't have the clean, instant torque feel of the hybrid system. You just have, oh my god, what's going on type feelings. And the shifts obviously are lightning fast. It's all fully dialed in. This car has been through a lot. I'm sure it could do with things like an alignment just to straighten stuff up and a few noises here and there and bits and pieces. But when it's done 92,000 kilometers, that's kind of to be expected, about 60,000 miles on it in total. Nothing should go this fast. No car should be able to hurtle down the lanes as quickly as this car can. It's definitely requiring some recalibration. Like, the noise is obviously huge as well. You're hearing all of this going on around you. Obviously that custom built exhaust system at the back. That's the thing I find really impressive though, is that the gearbox manages to hold on and shift so cleanly still. So we go up and over the undulations here. And then I guess if we turn it up from sport mode, and if we go up into Corsa, bumps, things probably get even more aggressive. Although this is not necessarily set up to need it. Yeah, shift's getting even faster, but you notice you get fewer cracks. That's the Lamborghini way. They want the sport mode and the Strada modes to be your normal driving modes as opposed to Corsa. Corsa is less playful for the road and more about being very fast, as the name suggests, when you're on the racetrack. This is just like balmy. Damon Dave and the DDE guys made something absolutely mental with this car. Okay, gotta watch out here. We've got a lot of snow. And I think the splitter, yeah. The splitter is running probably across that. Yeah, I gotta watch out a little bit. But this, I'm struggling to really work out how to define this car. It's actually quite a stressful thing to drive because you have to have your wits so much about you just to make sure nothing crazy happens. And I mean, I'm you know, on some twisty roads surrounded by trees and random bits of ice, so I can't exactly go Mach 10 with it. But you really, really need to be thinking about what you're doing because it's so quick that I feel like it could go wrong almost in an instance. If you got something, did something wrong, he said, watch out for the front splitter, we're good. I'm watching about for that wherever we go, just in case. But yeah, like I say, you just got to concentrate. And you know it's popping fireballs as well when you accelerate. The bangs out the back. Woo. You know, as odd as this might sound, I'm actually looking forward to getting back into my silly 760 horsepower Mustang, because in comparison, that is a very tame car to drive compared to this. This thing is so intense to be behind the wheel of. You have to be absolutely on it with concentration. Obviously it's built to be this ridiculous tyre slayer, which is exactly what it is. Just my word, it's insane. Let's go back into Strada. Oh, that was a little bit quieter. I think we need to take a listen to what it sounds like from the outside. Doing some of this. Holy smokes, it is insane. There is no other way to describe how absurd this car is, and I am actually gonna switch it off for just a moment of peace and quiet, because this is just the silliest thing I've driven in a while, and it is now one of the filthiest things I've driven in a while. Made a complete mess of that. I apologise to 458 Destroyer, but the roads at the moment, we can't really do much about it when you splash through some of the puddles. This thing, it's a unique project, isn't it? And that's what makes it stand out quite so much, that everything was kind of like, yeah, just do it. That was always the DDE approach, just make it totally wild, as they have done more recently with the Evo, Aperta, Huracan, and some of the other cars in the lineup as well. This is just, yeah, it's just unlike anything else. And obviously talking a bit about what happened when it all sort of caught fire back here, effectively it was all of the rubber from the tyres igniting from the heat of this system. The exhaust literally setting fire to the rubber around the wing and around some of the components, but the car itself was mechanically perfect, as they demonstrated when they took it promptly thereafter for a run out to show that everything was up and running functionally. To drive though, like I said, you have to be on your A game. This is not an easy car to drive. It needs concentration, it needs you to be properly on the ball, but it's quite the thrill. It's like a roller coaster or that kind of theme park attraction, because it's an adrenaline rush. It's an adrenaline junkie's car in every way. Anyway, that was awesome fun. A big thanks to 458 Destroyer for the opportunity to drive the car, and I suppose a thanks to the guys at DDE for building the car in the first place. Hopefully I'll catch up with them again before too long. Obviously at the moment they're up in Canada. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.